Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name. Giving all honor, praises, and glory unto the Most High Power Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahushai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Racha Kodash. Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Shalom and double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim and elders in Akwath. Shalom. Want to go into a quick video entitled, Life as You Know It is Deteriorating Because of Wickedness. The Most High is not going to destroy a society and civilization that's based off of his law, statutes, and commandments in the kingdom of heaven. So we're in the kingdom of hell right now, under Esau Edom, the so-called white man, under Satan, which is his God, that he come in the energy and the workings of. So we'll go ahead and go to 2 Esdras chapter 9 and 1, verse 2. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and we know there's earthquakes for many years now, last few years, in diverse places, as spoken of and prophesied by the Messiah in Matthew 24, and uproars of the people in the world. There's been seditions, and there's been, rioting, and the people coming up against the governments all throughout, over in China, France, Europe, everywhere, and even now, in America now as well. As in verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And so the reason why is because the Most High is wrapping up the rulership of the heathen Gentiles, and chiefly right now the chief wicked, which is the sons of the wicked, Esau Edom. We go to Job chapter 9:24. Judgment don't come down upon the righteous, but upon the wicked. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. False Christianity, whitewashed everything. When the images in the description of the color of the Most High, the Messiah, and the Israelites are dark skinned. If not, if the so-called white man didn't cover the faces and is not the wicked, where is he? Where and who is he? So Most High is asking, if the wicked is not, Esau Edom, then who did it? He's the only one that's did the iconoclasm, which is a whitewashing of the spiritual images of the Most High and the Messiah, the angels, and the Israelites on the earth. So we'll go to Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So that's what's going on right now. It's been mourning, but the mourning is coming to an all-time high right now, and it's going to get worse, because these are the beginning of the sorrows, of the deterioration of civilization. The Most have to tear this down before he build up the kingdom of heaven forever. As he said that they will build, but I will throw down, in Malachi chapter 1, in verse 3. Whereas Edom, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, meaning, poor, but we will return and build the desolate places. That was when they went to the caves and during the so-called Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, from around approximately 300 AD to about 1300, 1400 AD, when they came out the caves, and then they began slaughtering again, stole the land, took took the lands by violence and by bloodshed, and rebuilt to the Roman Empire revised today in America. Thus said the Most High Power of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So Edom, I did a video, a brief history of Esau in my timeline. It's a video breaking down, linking so-called white race to Esau, Edom. They're the same people. They're a fugitive trying to escape that name and that their lineage. So that the Most High say that they will build up again. He's going to throw it down. When the Messiah returns and thermonuclear missiles and a chariot laser beam fire and the pure destruction that's about to happen. And they shall call them the border of wickedness. So Esau Edom is the border of wickedness. So when you see so-called white people, there is the border of wickedness, because anything you talk to them, they only proceed to spew madness from their own dark, wicked mind and not from the commandments. They only push wickedness. And the people against whom the Most High Power Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, hath indignation forever. Indignation is righteous anger. Because why? What's righteous? The law, statutes, and commandments. And the Edomites are the very antithesis, meaning the very opposite of the commandments. It's of Satan, of the so-called white race. So from there we'll go to Sirach chapter 40 and verse 8. Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast. So meaning, we all go through our trials and tribulations in this flesh, in this world, hard, so like the phrase goes, it's a cold world, cold, hard world. We all have our day-to-day worries and stresses and different, issues and troubles that arises throughout the day and throughout our lives. So all men experience these things, even the beasts. So both man and beast, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. So it's a rite of passage. This is a mandatory thing that all people go through in life. Trials and tribulations, just the stresses of life. But when you're wicked, when you're a sinner, you go through it 7 times more than the average person, especially the elect, especially the Israelites that rehearse the righteous acts. They're going to go through hell, but their tribulation won't be as bad as the wicked and the sinners. Verse 9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. So these are all the things coming now in these last days, amplified to bring the wickedness to an end and usher in infinite righteousness under the Messiah that the Most High has appointed, that came in and completed the job and fulfilled the Most High's business, and when he went on the cross. So in the scourge, that goes into a whip, or like a weapon. So the scourge is coming for the wicked and for those that are that are sinners and who blaspheme the Most High. And that's why the earth is going through all of these pains right now, and it's amplifying and increasing. So we'll go to Proverbs 2 and 3. Yeah, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding. No, that's not what I must have wrote it down wrong. Is it 10? Well, this goes with it right here. So Proverbs 10 and 3, the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. Okay, let me see. I know what I wanted. Proverbs 19:29. Yeah, I don't know what I wrote that down. Yeah, so Proverbs 19 and 29 says, judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the backs of fools. So that's fools, goes into wickedness and that scourge. So that's what's coming upon the wicked and sinners. So Matthew 24 And verse 37 says, but as the days of Noah were, hold on, Salakia. Okay, let me go back real quick to Second Esdras. I mean Ecclesiasticus. I got my notes kind of all over right now. I was just jotting down the precepts as they came to me. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So we'll read verse. Let's go ahead and read verse 10. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So the point is that, all of this destruction, death, bloodshed, sword, famine, pestilence, the scourge, the rod and back of fools, and death is coming to the Most High is doing this. Why? Because of wickedness. And these are the same things that was happening. This is why the Most High brought the flood in the days of Noah, because they were wicked, doing the same things. And even more so, it's even worse in the last days now. So we know that there's an impending major big event of a judgment coming, because it's coming for the sakes of the wicked, not for the righteous. So keep the commandments and you won't have to worry about the terrifying judgment that's about to come down. And so we'll go ahead now, go to Matthew. So Matthew 24. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Matthew 24 and 37. It says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So the flood came then, and then the Messiah is coming as that new wave that's going to come and wash away the people, but it's going to be a wave of fire. Verse 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking. So they were partying, having a good time in the days of Noah. They were scoffing at Noah. They wasn't listening. They were dismissing and disregarding what Noah was saying, because he was out there prophesying about what was coming as he was, building the ark that the Most High gave him the instructions to build for that impending flood. Eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. And what do? Go out to restaurants, go to the bars, restaurant/bars, eating, drinking, mingling, men and women, picking up one night stands, but they don't know that they're actually marrying, because sex is marriage. But they're creating everyone, when they get with different partners, then that's adultery according to scripture, because sex is marriage. And if you have sex outside, if a woman has sex outside of that man she got with, then that's adultery. So, and then that man created that woman, created the other man that got with her. So it's just, and people don't have no understanding of what they're doing, and that's why it's just pure abomination and filth upon, layered upon each other. So that's what they're doing now, to an even worse extent today than even in the days of Noah, because this is worldwide. This is global, throughout the four corners right now. Because America, this land over here, it wasn't going. The land wasn't inhabited at that time during the days of Noah. But and it was just different era and different time before the flood as well. And continuing on, it says, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So they were just partying and had their head in the sand, ignoring everything, the spiritual water that Noah was trying to give them. And then they didn't know until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came. So the door was closed and sealed by the Almighty power hands, and that door wasn't going to open for nobody, because a lot of people may have came and ran and beat on them, tried to have Noah open the door for them, and it was too late. The doors of mercy was closed, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So it's going to be the exact same thing, but the Most High made a covenant with the earth, and promised, make the promise to Noah he'll never, flood. I believe he made that promise to Noah as well, but it was mentioned he will never flood the earth again as a whole. He's flooded certain parts, but not the whole earth at once, for judgment. But and made that covenant with the rainbow, which the Edomite so-called white race have the white race have defiled by making a rainbow their symbol for the alphabet filth. But so that's how right now we're in those exact same days and these exact same last moments before the doors of mercy close by way of the teachings and these videos and lessons and us keeping the commandments. We have grace right now through Yahweh's precious, sacred, holy, unblemished blood. Precious, sacred, holy, righteous, unblemished blood, right? So we got received the grace through the Messiah and we had that mercy, but now we're in the days of Noah where those doors are about to close. The Messiah is gonna return, Yahweh, and those thermonuclear missiles going to be hitting, simultaneously as well. And that flood of fire going to come and wash the people away in fire this time, in a blaze. And verse, okay, and that's going to be that on that. So we'll go back to, let's get verse 9, hold up, verse 30, so that'd be that for that. Now we'll go back to Sirach 40 and 12. All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out. So we know who always bribe and pay people off and have puppet leaders, so-called white race. That's what they do. They have it amongst the leaders of the Israelites and throughout the other nations that they take over and set up puppet leaders of that nation to lead over them through their, shadow hand. All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out, but true dealing shall endure forever. So we'll get that bribery that goes on from Esau Edom. Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. So if you're not mad at the oppression going on today and seeing us being destroyed, then the Most High say that you are unwise if you're not mad at that. And a gift destroyeth the heart. So that's that bribery. Because why? Our false leaders, false pastors, the Reverend Al Sharptons and Jesse Jacksons and T.D. Snakes, T.D. Jakes, all of these false religious leaders take bribery, and then also they teach through these seminary schools, learn a wicked philosophy and doctrine from the serpent and the so-called white man through those schools. And then they come and these pastors receive what? They have a 501c3, which is tax exempt dollars that they receive from the people in tithes and everything, and all of the money they make is tax free, and so they get that and they teach for hire. They're hirelings, and so they make all this money and riches, and they pervert the truth of the Bible. So that's that bribery, and that's that gift that destroyed the heart. Some may come out strong and it might sound tough, but then the white man pull them to the side, pay them behind closed doors, then they lose all of that strength that they had. These false leaders some of them may have started out a little strong, but they all bought and paid for, and they message change over the years and get softer and softer. Zechariah 11 and 5, and that's this. Let's see, that was that injustice I want to get. Yeah, so bribery and injustice shall be blotted out. And here's that injustice, Zechariah 11 and 5. That whose possessors slay them, who possess us, the so-called white race. They slay us where? In the streets, the cops, and all of the brutality. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, even since we got off the boats till it morphed into the slave catchers, until the slave catchers are now the cops, modern day cops, and they hold themselves not guilty in the court, in their false court of law. It says, and they that sell them say, and they sell us on the auction blocks. Those are our enemies, sold us, and then that's who those are the same people today. They just don't do it as blatantly as they did then. It's not physical slavery anymore, just economic and systematic racism and oppression and slavery. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. And that's that bribery we talked about and read in Ecclesiastes 7:7, that gift destroying their heart. Because their own shepherds, the shepherds are the leaders of the Israelites, the people today. And who was that? The false leaders, the Al Sharptons and these pastors and preachers, and these false congressmen as well. So we go from there to so that true dealing. When you look at the word true, it says, but true dealing shall endure forever. So what's true? Let's go ahead and get that in Psalms chapter 119. True, which means truth. Psalms 119 and 142 reads, Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So we know that this place is not about that. So the laws of the Most High is going to endure forever and ever once wickedness is uprooted and the kingdom of heaven and the commandments that's going to be installed by the Almighty and Yahushua going to endure forever. And then, so what's righteous? And once again, so Romans 10:5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which doeth those things shall live by them. So righteousness is so truth is the law, and righteousness is the law. There's no way around it. So we'll go back to verse 13. It says, the goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and shall vanish with noise, like a great thunder and rain. So let's first get the unjust. Let's see, the goods of the unjust. So that we'll go to Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, and as wickedness, injuries and riches got by deceit. He deceived the pilgrims, so-called pilgrims came over here, act like they made those treaties with the natives, so-called natives. That was the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Made all of those peace treaties and broke them all, and got this land and all the riches there is. In the gold rush back in the day, in the 1940s, I think that was what the gold rush. And that's just a few. That's just the name of a few. And the chief riches are the Israelites, because that's their top commodity. Everything they have is based off of our backs, from the building of this nation for free to all of the inventions and our talents and our spirit. And they bottle it up, and they just make merchandise of us through the sports, because the professional sports are what multi-billion-dollar sport leagues, and that's just one avenue of the money they make off us in the hip hop culture. Man, there's just so much money that they make off of us that they can never repay us, because mainly the blood that they shed of ours, that they shed of ours. Excuse me. So verse 8 again, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So that's the wicked being uprooted, and the righteousness of the kingdom of heaven and the laws and his holy chosen nation, the Israelites, going to reign forever under Yahweh and his commandments, and the Messiah, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, enforcing the commandments of the Almighty power and keeping all the nations in check with the Israelites. And then we'll go to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. More of those riches gotten by blood. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. Iniquity is sin. So that's how they've established America and all of their nations, because why they don't stay in their own borders. Everywhere they're at, there was a original people that lived on those lands, wherever so-called Edomite so-called white man, the Edomites, reside right now. Europeans, Australians. That's why they're the border of wickedness, because everywhere they go, they, nothing but crime and sin and bloodshed and theft and robbery. So then that noise right here, and it speaks on, the Most High speaks on the noise here. Where am I at? Let me go back to chapter 40, 13. So, the goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and shall vanish with noise, like a great thunder and rain. So that what's that noise? And what's that vanishing? What vanishes? What causes something to vanish? Set something on fire and it'll vanish. 2 Peter 3 and 10. But the day of the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away, that's that vanishing, pass away with a great noise, that's that noise. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and that's how it's going to pass away and vanish. That great noise is going to be those thermonuclear missiles hitting, and that fervent heat, that thermonuclear fire, and also the chariot laser beam is going to be zapping as well. With fervent heat, the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So what works? The works of iniquity, the workers of iniquity, all of the sinful deeds by the chief wicked, the border of wickedness, Esau Edom, as we read. And that's going to be the end of Esau Edom. And this is what's going to happen as a result of Esau Edom and the wickedness being destroyed and uprooted for the abominations done in the earth. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So that's why, life as you know it is deteriorating. It's because of the wickedness of Esau Edom and all the heathen that have oppressed and destroyed the earth and have destroyed the Most High Power Yahweh chosen nation, the Israelites. And also, and it began when they crucified the Messiah way back 2,000 years ago. So with that, I hope this video was edifying. Until the next video, I say, Shalom.